Now at 10, we have new information about the former employee of an Avon Daycare who is accused of sexually assaulting children. Thanks for joining us for the Fox 61 News at 10. I'm Priscilla Meza. Fox 61's Tim Little reports on how that employee spent time working at other nearby locations for the company.
The investigation into former BrightPath Avon employee Giancarlo Sotero is expanding. BrightPath says he also temporarily worked at locations in Simsbury, the one in West Hartford on Park Road, and the one on Day Hill Road right here in Windsor. Some parents I spoke with, though, are questioning why it took more than 5 weeks for the company to reveal this latest development.
When I saw the message for the first time, I was a bit freaked out.
Apollonia Dawes' daughter has attended the BrightPath Windsor Child Care Center for 2 years now. She was sickened that a former employee within the company is accused of sexually assaulting children.
Just like any other parent, I was a bit concerned. I reached out. They let me know that it's in a whole different location. Everything is handled, but every single time, as soon as they find something out, they update us.
29-year-old former employee Giancarlo Sotero faces numerous charges related to sexual assault and risk of injury to a child. Investigators say he sexually assaulted at least 5 children at BrightPath Avon, including one incident that took place on camera. Attorneys who represent dozens of BrightPath families say they believe there are even more victims. Parents I spoke with outside the Windsor and West Hartford buildings say they received an email Friday that said Sotero temporarily worked at those locations in addition to Simsbury. Parents appreciate the communication, but some wish this information was discovered sooner than 5 weeks into the investigation. Dawes says BrightPath's app for parents is transparent and gives her peace of mind.
I love the way they do the app because every single time, they'll take pictures, let you know what's going on throughout the day, and whatever they have for lunch, they will give you updates on what's going on. Even if they use the bathroom, they let you know. So I absolutely love this location.
Parents tell me they're able to see their child's record and which staff members interacted with them. One parent who spoke to me off camera confirmed Sotero interacted with their child at the Windsor location. Dawes says she's pleased with the program in Windsor and hopes there won't be any changes made to it.
Just don't let one bad person or one bad apple mess it up for everyone else.
Sotero is being held on a $3 million bond. In Windsor, Tim Little, Fox 61.
A Bridgeport man has been sentenced for repeatedly sexually assaulting a child. A judge sentenced 47-year-old Melvin Dixon to 25 years in prison, suspended after 15 years served, followed by 15 years of probation. Prosecutors say the abuse happened between 2017 and 2020 in Ansonia and Seymour, when the victim was between 7 and 10 years old. Dixon also will be required to remain on Connecticut's sex offender registry for life.
Well, hi, everyone. Looks like our weekend is going to be, 60-40. Saturday will be a washout. Sunday, Mother's Day will be okay to start and into the early afternoon hours, but then there's a chance for a few late day showers, but certainly no washout like tomorrow. Meanwhile, temperatures have cooled down into the 40s today, this evening. 42 Torrington to 48 New Haven, 54 Bridgeport. So far we're dry, but there is some rain now starting to redevelop in Williamsport. And that rain stretches all the way back to St. Louis. System getting together and moving right on top of us for your Saturday. Meanwhile, overnight, increasing clouds. Looks like the rain will start out around 3 or 4 o'clock and become steadier through the morning hours. Tonight's lows holding in the 40s. And for tomorrow, again, that light rain starts in the morning, moderate to heavy rain afternoon into the evening, and we'll taper it off to showers. Temperatures only in the 50s. Coming up, I'll detail how much rain we get when it all comes to an end, what you can expect for Mother's Day. There are some changes, and we'll talk about next week. Details coming up in a few minutes. Priscilla?
Because I'm not giving up. I will see this through until the end. I mean, Jimmy deserves justice.
An emotional day in court as the judge issued yet another delay in the court case of Raw Valley. Valley's attorney says an important email in the case was lost. Valley was acquitted last summer by a jury for murder and intentional manslaughter in the 2022 stabbing death of 17-year-old Fairfield Prep student James Jimmy McGrath, but the jury remained deadlocked on the lesser charges. Fox 61's Alicia Hercules is outside of Milford Superior Court to break down the delay and share reaction from the victim's family.
Nearly 4 years after his son was stabbed to death at a Shelton house party, Kevin McGrath says he's disgusted by another delay in the court proceedings and says he wants nothing more than justice for his son.
It's like it happened yesterday.
Kevin McGrath, James McGrath's father, and his family went to court Friday expecting his case to move forward. Instead, they were met with another delay.
One of the reasons for why we're asking for another date, I guess, in this case.
And it all came down to a missing email. Roll Valley's attorney Darnell Crossland previously filed a motion to dismiss the case on the grounds of double jeopardy. When the state filed its response, they said it was emailed to Crossland. However, Crossland said they never got that email.
But you can't argue what you don't have, and but I also said I don't want a lengthy continuance either.
The state and the defense will now have to argue those motions at their next court date in June. The McGrath family were emotional outside the courthouse after the hearing. Kevin McGrath says he's had enough of the delays in this case.
And every time you come into a court and they're not prepared, it's disgusting. It's disrespectful to us.
He says their family will never give up their fight for justice.
He didn't do anything to Raul Valley, but he stuck a knife into my son's chest.
Valley was acquitted of the murder of 17-year-old James McGrath and of first-degree manslaughter, as well as the intentional assault of 2 other people at a 2022 house party in Shelton. The jury remained deadlocked on the lesser charges of reckless manslaughter, 2 counts of first-degree reckless assault, and second-degree reckless assault. Valley claimed the stabbing was in self-defense during the trial. He claims he drew a pocket knife during a violent assault in which he was attacked by more than 10 people. Crossland says since the jury found him not guilty on the murder charge, he questions if the state can now retry him for reckless manslaughter.
You can't be found not guilty on an intentional and unjustified on a reckless.
He says similar to the McGrath family, Valley wants a resolution to this case.
He was a young kid even back then, so he's growing and maturing, and everybody wants to have some closure to this case.
Crossland says during the next hearing on June 1st, he plans to go forward with his motion to dismiss the case on the grounds of double jeopardy. In Milford, Alicia Hercules, Fox 61.
It may be a slow process in the criminal cases surrounding the death of 11-year-old Jacqueline Mimi Torres Garcia. That includes the cases against her aunt Jacqueline, who appeared in court today, and Mimi's mother, Carla, who did not show up for her hearing. Prosecutors and defense attorneys say there is so much evidence to review that they need more time before deciding the next steps. A judge has now set their next court date for June 26th. Meanwhile, Carla's ex-boyfriend Jonathan Anita has already pleaded not guilty to murder and is due back in court on the 19th. A 1-year-old girl from Newtown is safe and back with her mother this afternoon, according to police. You may remember a silver alert was issued earlier this week after police say her father, Brendan McGrath, kept her longer than allowed under a court-ordered custody agreement. Investigators say McGrath was uncooperative with police and DCF after being ordered to return the child. Police now have a warrant out for his arrest on charges including custodial interference. Police say a Hartford man was killed in an early morning shooting in Waterbury on Wednesday. Officers say 20-year-old Daniel Pert was shot in the head on Easton Avenue and was pronounced dead at the scene. So far, no arrests have been made and the investigation is still underway. Solar panels caught fire on the roof of a Waterbury home this afternoon. Firefighters arrived to find the panels burning on top of the home with an elderly person still inside. The crews helped that person safely get out of the house, and the fire was brought under control quickly. Utility crews also responded to make sure the home was safe. No one was hurt, and the fire marshal's office is now investigating. Police say a Stratford man was drunk and driving more than 90 miles an hour before a fiery crash in Ansonia that injured 4 people back in March. Now, investigators say Amari Langston's blood alcohol level was nearly 3 times the legal limit when he crashed into multiple vehicles and a utility pole, which caught fire. One passenger suffered serious head and neck injuries, and Langston is out on bond and due back in court later this month on multiple charges. A man is in critical condition tonight after being hit by a car while riding a bike in Plainville. Police say it happened around 7:20 last night at the intersection of West Main Street and Forestville Avenue. Officers say the driver stayed at the scene and is cooperating with the investigation. Police are still working to determine what led up to the crash. Fallen New Haven firefighter Thomas Kelly will be laid to rest tomorrow. Kelly joined the department in 1979 and served as a tillerman. In 1992, he suffered life-threatening injuries after falling 30 feet while battling a fire on Chapel Street. He lived with those injuries for 34 years before passing away this week, surrounded by family and fellow firefighters. Kelly was a decorated firefighter receiving 5-unit citations and a Medal of Merit. The White House says the ceasefire is still holding with Iran even as tensions continue between the two to escalate in the Persian Gulf. Caroline Elliott reports.
American forces hit 2 Iranian oil tankers on Friday in the Strait of Hormuz, trying to break a U.S. blockade in the Gulf of Oman. The U.S. says it came in response to an Iranian attack on 3 U.S. Navy ships.
The red line is clear. If they threaten Americans, they're going to get blown up. You fire a missile at the United States and we saw you fire it, we're going to hit you.
It's another sign the so-called ceasefire is looking more unstable by the day.
The U.S. responded defensively to protect itself. Only stupid countries don't shoot back when you're shot at, and we're not a stupid country.
Iran's foreign minister responded, saying in part, quote, every time a diplomatic solution is on the table, the U.S. opts for a reckless military adventure, adding that, quote, Iranians never bow to pressure. But President Trump warns time to accept a peace deal is running out.
You won't have to know. If there's no ceasefire, you're not going to have to know. You're just going to have to look at one big glow coming out of Iran. And they better sign their agreement fast.
And the U.S. proposal reportedly focuses on a full stop to Iran's nuclear program and reopening the Strait of Hormuz. In New York, Caroline Elliott, Fox 61.